You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
I want to talk about news, don't want the drama from no pretentious media Madonna. I found me a great ganja mama. Cannabis and coffee with Tamarijuana.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Cannabis and Coffee with me. How's everybody doing today? So I made it today. Honestly, last week I probably gapped and forgot, and I apologize for that. But I just my brain, I've been having some real issues with my attention deficit, to be fair, and I needed to up my medication apparently, and I did. So things are getting a little better right at the moment. But that's that for my lousy excuse for not showing up last week. I have Alexa set. Like honestly, even today I was sitting in my bed watching the news, and she went off at 11:30 saying show day, and I went, oh fuck, right? Oh yeah, I remember now. So that's my life. And I used to call it Potsdamers, but I don't call it Potsdamers anymore. I honestly believe that it's got a lot to do with the attention deficit for so many years and not having a lot of clarity or organizational skills. Figured that I was a multitasker, which was great, but nothing ever got done. And I would chalk it up to, I would call it Potsdamers. I'd say, oh, maybe I smoked so much, too much today or whatever. My mind, right? But what it boils down to is a lot of it has to do hand in hand with attention deficit. And not that makes me feel any better, but it makes me feel a little less thinking that it was all about, the memory loss due to this, right? Because that's not necessarily always the case. So they're also finding that, cannabis can help with removing the plaque on the plaque that builds up for Alzheimer's. So those are some studies that are being done right now that I've, made aware of. But that being said, let's add to my memory loss. I wouldn't say it's memory loss. I call it squirrel brain, I guess, more than anything. But again, like it's just a matter of me bouncing all over the place all the time, and it's frustrating for me. I can't imagine it being frustrating to anybody else that has to work with me or be around me, because it's frustrating enough for me. So even with doing the show too, bouncing from topic to topic and not really finishing off and interrupting, right? That was a big thing when I first started doing podcasting, was the interrupting Al and not really realizing what I was doing. But now it's a little more clear as to the behavioral, and I'm hoping to get better at that. I don't know. You have to ask Al. This is another Al, because I've worked with both Als, right? And we're all on the same network again, because it's 420 pace, right? And we've got some new clips and stuff that Al's been working on. I asked him if he would put them in my feed. And it doesn't look like they've been added, but that's okay. We've got commercials and all kinds of other stuff that's been added. He's a busy guy. Like, he does a lot of behind the scenes stuff, right? Never mind, he travels around to those events and stuff and does live stuff in Ontario that I can't participate in, unfortunately, because I'm not here. And I wish I could. I wish I had the means and no responsibility, so I could just hop on a plane and go to Toronto and help and do some events with them. But I got too many responsibilities here with four legs, unfortunately, and nobody really to watch him. Taven's not quite old enough to be just left home alone for 4 days with a bunch of dogs. And he's just not. He's 14. He's just not. It's just not a thing yet. Maybe when he's 18 or 17, and hopefully by then he's made a decision to go on to school and do other things. I don't expect him to stay home so I can go do stuff and he can watch dogs. It's not in the plan. Not for him anyway. But there we go. So today my topic is cannabis revenue. And the reason why I'm talking about it is because a lot of people are seeming to have some misinformation being fed, and the fact that they think that the cannabis money is not the we don't even know where it's going, right? We do. We absolutely know where it's going and how much is being revenued or generated. Sorry. But most of it's going back into law enforcement, unfortunately, into these community safety standards task force and stuff that we necessarily don't really need. And I don't see here how they've hired any more agents to go around and inspect the stores. In fact, we have tobacco in my store, so we're under the same cannabis, alcohol, tobacco regulatory system as cannabis is. And my store had not been even looked at or what's the word, I guess, not rated, but inspected. That's it. Sorry, my brain hadn't been inspected in 5 years. Okay, so I was at work. I don't know. I think it was probably 3 weeks ago now. I walk into work and there's these people ripping through the store, through all the like underneath the counters and through the cabinets and stuff in the back. And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on here? And they were doing a tobacco inspection. And honestly, the way they acted, you'd think that they were raiding the place. It was ridiculous. There's two of them in there, just ripping through shit, counting fucking this, tearing stuff off, out of the thing. Well, this one's this and that, and that. And then they found some like large Cabana cigars that had been there for. My boss didn't even know they were there. Like, let's put it this way: they were probably there from the previous owner. They were stuffed in the back of a fucking drawer, and nothing like yeah. So they were giving her like a rundown on not being able to sell these anymore. They weren't available anymore, blah blah blah, and they shouldn't be. They weren't out in public view, okay? They were in a cabinet in the back room, fucking stuffed in a corner. Like they were not out for public view. But they physically like took pictures of her throwing them in the garbage. Anyways, I could not imagine, if you were having a cannabis store, what kind of fucking bullshit they pull on you, to come in there and start fucking going through all your shit, counting packages and counting boxes. Like, I get it. I get they have to, keep under the regulation, but who are they hiring to do this stuff? Like, you know what I mean? Like Gestapo people? Like, what kind of, mentality do these people have? Yeah, hi, Peace Frog. Yes, I agree. Maybe, if your grandma, a lot of the older generation still believe in it's the devil's medicine or devil's lettuce. They don't think it's medicine, and unfortunately they're taking the opioids and taking all the pills and could possibly not say remove them all, because I'm not going to say stop taking your insulin and start smoking cannabis. I would never ever, and always check with your doctor first. I'm not a medical anything. I'm a medical patient. I've used cannabis for medical use, but I am not in any way, shape, or form involved in medicine. I couldn't stomach the medical field, right? But I have used cannabis for, I've had a pretty booming headache and still had to take an Advil. But there have been other headaches that I've had that this worked completely fine. So I think it depends too on you, the strain that you're using, yeah, and depending on the ailment as well and what strain. And now that we have legalization, I guess, not in a perfect form in any way, shape, or form, but it's better than not having any access at all. But I'm also like, checking out the news and stuff and seeing that there was a place in, a cannabis store in the States that was raided and charged with, selling laced cannabis with fentanyl. So not everybody's ethical, even if they've gotten themselves into the legal regime, Canada or the States or somewhere, not everybody's ethical. And that's the unfortunate thing. And sure, background checks and all those fancy things were being done, but I found out the other day that, no record checks are being done at the stores where I was told I couldn't be hired because I had a criminal record. And meanwhile, I was told by one of the workers at one of the stores that they weren't even asked if they had a criminal record. So I guess it just, again, depends on the store and whether they want to actually give you the time of day. And apparently, I guess, this guy just figured he was not going to give me the time of day. I made the excuse that he couldn't hire me because I had a criminal record, which I'm now finding out is a whole pile of shit. They don't care. They don't even fucking ask, right? So why I'm working at a grocery store and not working at a cannabis retail store is probably the money. Because the cannabis stores literally pay minimum wage, and I'm being paid higher than minimum wage. So, and I don't have any drama, right? I don't have to deal with any other employees, which I like. So that's why I'm working at a grocery store, not a cannabis store. It comes down to money because they're not paying these people what they should be paid. Like they're paying them like 18. Well, I mean, minimum wage in British Columbia now is I think $18 an hour, 17.85 or something. They just raised it again. But again, I'm being paid more than that and have been for the last 2 years. Like, why would I work for? Why would I? I mean, sure, I love it, but I love the job that I've got too right now, right? So I don't know. It's a good job. It's a good job. I'm not excited with it. Sorry, my phone, and it's Harris. It's Harris. I'm just gonna tell him I'm on podcast, so he won't bother me anymore. It's not that he bothers me. All right. So we were gonna we were going to talk about cannabis revenue. So I have brought up um a website here, or not a website, but I googled. Well, Google's free, and honestly, I wish we would have had Google when I was a kid. But we also when the internet first came out, it was Ask Jeeves. Any of you guys remember that? Ask Jeeves. You see, you'd Google Ask, you'd not Google, but you'd punch in your question to Ask Jeeves, and he would come up with kind of like Google, but it was called Ask Jeeves. Okay, so we're gonna add this up here, and then I'm gonna go back over here. So it says here the revenue of the cannabis market in Canada is projected to reach U.S. cash. By the way, this is not in Canadian funds. This is in U.S. funds. 5.63 billion in 2024. It's expected to show an annual growth rate at CAGR 2024 to 2029 of 3.17%, resulting in a market value of 6.58 billion by 2029. All right, folks. So that being said, when you're asking where, all the tax money that, the feds are sending to the provinces that they're not using, because the fucking provincial governments are getting 75% of that, right? Right. I'll show you. Hang on. We'll go tax breakdown on cannabis in Canada. All right, here we go. Under the terms, okay, but I'll share this so you can see it, so you don't think that I'm just talking out my ass. It says right here the combined rate of federal, provincial, and territorial cannabis, specifically duties and taxes, does not exceed the higher one. No, okay, that's not what I was looking for. I better go back here. I want to see the breakdown. You can claim the amount of cannabis oil, plants, seeds, or products purchased for medical purposes from a licensed producer on your CRA. That says that right there. It's not what I was looking for either. I wanted to see because I know it's a 75% breakdown. Federal excise duty tax, GST, HST, GST, PCN. Okay. Maybe I have to word it differently. How much is it? What percentage? That's what I'll ask. I'll ask Google. There you are. Right, black and white, just like I said. So again, you can see 75% right there. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, I know I asked myself, why? Why are the fucking provinces crying and whining for fucking money from the feds for housing, for anything? Really? Like, I mean, I know with our income tax rate, we have all these things that we have to pay for. But the cannabis, 75% of the taxes are going to the province, right? And it says there in black and white. I'll add it again just so you can see. 75%, right? And I just said that they're making like 5.9 billion US a year. So 75% of that goes back to the provinces. Of course, there's 10 provinces, so they have to break it down. But they also are charging PST that goes directly back to the province, right? It's provincial sales tax. So then they're getting 75% of the federal income, and then they're getting another whatever the percentage from the provincial income. I just don't get it. I don't quite understand what in the actual fuck they think is going on. And I think that most of them really need to reevaluate what they're doing because like I said, when you're looking at the revenue on it, 75% of that goes back to the provinces, right? So again, and then they're also collecting the PST on that on $5.9 billion US. What? So as everybody's, and then in British Columbia, we also have a 20% vape tax on top of that. So again, you're looking at the facts that we're getting, 75%, 25% stays to on the federal level, okay? 25% of 5, but the rest is going back to the provinces. And they're asking for more money. And they're screaming about fucking overreach. Pardon? And this is one of the things, like when we legalized, and never mind that it had to do with everything to do with access. It had everything to do with revenue, tax money, so that would go back into education, healthcare, infrastructure, all the things that we were lacking in Canada at the time, right? Because in 2015 things kind of changed a little bit for us. But again, we were always that was the message when we first started pushing this was show them the money, right? We'd sit with Kelly and we go show them the money, like the old whatever McGuire with old Tom Cruise there. Show them the money. Hi folks. And that's exactly what we did. And again, now you see the revenues coming from 2024 to 2029 will be $6.8 billion US. Okay. And then a progressive growth of 3.17%. Now all that revenue is going back into the general coffers, right? 25% for the feds and then 75% to the province. Where the fuck's the money? And I've been asking that for months, right? I think I have a hashtag that says, where's the plant cash? Right? Like, where are they putting this cash? And then you go and you Google more and you do a little more digging and investigating. And that's not going into their pockets, it's going into law enforcement. Treatment and recovery. Okay. For cannabis, I don't know many people that need treatment and recovery for that. But where are all the treatment centers and all these things and with addiction and safe injection sites? Where's the money for that then? Why is that not going there? And again, this isn't a misappropriation by the federal government. This is misappropriation by the provincial governments, right? Because they're the ones that are collecting not just PST, but 75% of the general and off of that plant money, right? Cannabis. Can't say I'm on TikTok. Plant money, right? So again, we're talking about the plant, right? And I'm on I do a podcast every Monday, and I'm actually on it live right now. And I just thought I'd let you join in for a few minutes. And I'm not sure how long they'll let me stay on here because of the fact that I'm talking about something that's legal in Canada, but not legal in some states in the US, but not legal all over the world. But it should be. We're talking about the revenue that has been coming out of that for the Canadian government, right? And the Canadian government is making 75 the provinces are getting 75%, right? And the feds only keep 25%. So we're talking about where's the money? And I've been saying this also to you. You've seen probably on here as well that I've asked where's the plant money, right? Now, if you want to join me, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Pace Radio Network in my studio. or you can keep following here. But I'll be looking at the other screen because I'm actually doing a show. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. So again, we are talking about, the fact of the matter is, where are the treatment centers then? So if it's going into law enforcement and then it's going, supposed to going back into treatment recovery. So, the project would be like asking your MLAs and asking your provincial governments where the fuck the money is. I can't make it more clear than that in reality, because when they're taking that much out of billions and billions of dollars, and then you've got people screaming about inflation and this and that and everything else. I agree. It's been pretty tight, but the bank, rates have come down. But again, when you're making that much money off, uh, so you think about that portion of it, okay? Never mind tobacco, alcohol, gambling, that little ministry, right? Liquor control, control, plant control, water control, blah, blah. And I deal with all of it now. Like I've got, except for the liquor portion because we don't have that. But again, when you think about the revenue that's generated from that entity alone, okay? Never mind our income tax. That's just a drop in the bucket, right? Never mind the GST and the PST. We're talking revenue off sin taxes, okay? I think is what they call them, off of things that people, use. So if you added, the other illegal substances, full drug reform, I believe in full drug reform. I actually believe that we should be manufacturing and producing everything that we need, because the safe, the safe supply right now is hitting back to the streets, because the safe supply is not the drug of choice. And I've said that several times too. People are not going to the pharmacy and getting meth or getting whatever that they buy off the street, right? They're getting opioids. They're getting an 8 milligram hydromorphines, I think, so many a day is how the safe supply is working for opiate. Or you're taking Suboxone, methadone, trying to, wean yourself off. But those are still synthetic, right? Opioids, right? So again, doesn't matter how you look at it. And safe supply is something that they're getting in pill form. And if you're not an IV user, I don't think that that's very helpful. Like if you're somebody that's smoking meth or smoking fentanyl, or I've never seen fentanyl, to be honest. I have never even seen it, and I'm good with that. But I'm not sure how it's used. But again, that's why the safe supply is ending up in, I was watching something last week where in northern British Columbia, somebody had been charged with, when they raided her house, she had a large supply of safe supply in with some of their illicit, street drugs. And if you're not supplying them with the drug of choice, like meth, right, crack, cocaine, whatever they're using, they are going to continue to make it so it's an illicit substance and going for the illicit substance. So, and I know, like I said, nobody wants to hear this, right? Nobody wants to hear, but nobody wanted to hear it about cannabis either. But Stephen Harper started this shit show when he wanted to take away our rights to be able to grow our own medicine, right? So he started these huge manufacturing setups, these licensed production sites, right? Like taking from the model of Flin Flon. Right? Folks, you guys remember that? Because you do. I know, as anybody that has been along for the ride since, 2000s, they know how this whole shit show went. And then we took them to court, right? So we were able to get our licensing back. But by that time, we already had these huge producers like Tilray and Aurora and Tweed and all these big places going. There wasn't enough licensed patients to maintain them, right? So hence the other avenue, because these are big corporations. In fact, these are like on the stock market corporations that are now producing cannabis, right? Sorry, plant. I'm sure it's been, but again, if you start manufacturing, and like I said, I know nobody wants to hear this, start manufacturing the street drugs like meth, like cocaine, but making it so that they're tested. There's no poisons in them, that they're actually pure, but not pure enough that they're going to kill somebody. You understand what I'm saying, right? Because you can't be sticking any pure heroin in your arm either and not expecting to overdose, right? And then from there, you need safe injection housing or safe supply housing for these houseless people, like they have in downtown Vancouver with one of the hotels, that they can consume and have medical staff on site. And then they also have the ability to detox and recovery steps forward too, if that's a choice. But in reality, people are always going to use drugs. I'm sorry. Prostitution's the oldest in the book, right? Since the beginning of time. That's not going away either. You had to make that safe, right? Pass some laws, regulate it a little bit. So again, this is not going away. As much as I'd like to say, poof, everybody's trauma and everything's going to go away and nobody's ever going to want to use drugs again, or nobody's ever going to be in an accident and have to take opioids for pain and never get addicted to that. Okay. That's not going to happen, folks. It's just not. So I think that our best bet to actually solve this problem is to make it safe and have places that are safe, and then use that $5.9 billion US for treatment and building these safe supply and safe housing, whether it's tiny homes, whether it's an apartment building, whether it's an old hotel. And again, I've said this before too, you're not going to get them all, right? There are going to be ones that either slip through the cracks or just don't want to be involved. Okay. Any form of regulation, any form of, but if they can't get what they need off the street, they're going to have to go into that crack store, right? I don't know what you're going to call them, you call it what you want. And the regulations are going to have to be skin tight. And the people that run them are going to have to be, I would think, pharmacists maybe for this one, like, or people that have some sort of medical training, honestly, because you're dealing with, illicit drugs, right? You're dealing with heroin, you're dealing with opioids, you're dealing with cocaine, you're dealing with, I don't know all of them because, LSD, acid, there's, mushrooms too. Like, do you put them all, how you break that down, right? But again, these are things that we should be discussing with our MPs, with our MLAs, instead of spewing out misinformation about how the Liberal government wants to, legalize crack. Yes, actually, yes, we do. Because then it's safe and regulated and off the streets and away from the children. Yeah, okay. Whatever, restricted, I don't give a fuck. Because it's a fact. You don't like the facts about drug reform. That sucks. But it's fact. And I'm doing another show. You're just like hanging out. And I can say whatever I want on this other network. But again, facts are people are not going to stop doing drugs. It's just a fact. And it's an unfortunate fact. But the best thing that we can do for for people is to help them, not discriminate against them, not stigmatize them, not make it so it's so unattainable to get treatment that it costs exuberant amounts of money to get the help that they need, because a lot of them need mental health help. And if you don't have any benefits, or if you can't get a spot at, in your provincial for mental health services, because addiction's a mental health problem. It's a medical problem. We need our medical community to step up and start. And I know there are, like, I'm not knocking any of them, because we have some really good resources in our province, but not enough. Like, I'm not knocking the resources that we've got. We just need more. And we need more teachers, and we need more staffing and pre-K and, educations that maybe find these children that fall through the cracks for trauma and stop it in its tracks, because there's so many things that lead up to addiction. Again, a bad car accident can lead somebody to addiction. And that's the unfortunate thing, like pain. It's not always trauma, right? It can be physical trauma. And then, your body, right? So again, there are so many arms and tentacles to drug reform and law reforms, and how we help people with trauma and mental health issues. And the revenues that we're making off one should be then filtered to the other. And like I said, when they say they're using that resource for treatment, where's the treatment, right? And that's my biggest thing is, where are these treatment centers that they're setting up? In fact, we've got a fire burning where one of probably the best ones is in the province right now. And I don't know if it's gonna survive that fire. And it's one of the best ones in the province where I live. It's a really good treatment center. and they're in the middle of a forest fire. So again, where's the revenues? Where's the money? Where's the plant money? And like I said, I've been saying that for a long time. Anyways, it's that time where we thank our sponsors, because if we don't have any shows. And yeah, they're a terrific bunch. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and I will be back in a flash. Gotta find them. This one.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Camelford Lifestyle Shop, open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats, and look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Camelford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Camelford, Ontario.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partners 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
All right, I'm back, and I paused because we run commercials, and I definitely would have got in trouble for this. They're just not, they're not TikTok friendly. Sorry. Anyways, so we're back, and I was doing some more crime rate looking at, because the fact the matter of, Al and I did a whole show on the new Cannabis Act review that was just done recently. Sorry. And crime rates were down by 95% for possession, right? So I'm going to pull this up again. I think this is the right one. Oh, shit. Let me see. Yeah. So right in here, these are all just crime rates. This is the one I wanted. Here. So I'm going to have to go back here and grab this other page. Sorry. too many windows open, as usual. No. Okay, so on this one here, I'm gonna dog scratching. See the bad part about these are 2020 stats, and I don't know why they're 2020 stats. Like I'm not quite understanding why we don't have any um newer stats in here. Let me see if I can bring up the year and it'll give me some different information. This is Statistics Canada. Please reporting crime stats. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, so nuts, we're talking like I don't want to see that. Violent crimes, no. This is actually a page from Stats Canada. This is actually Stats Canada's page here. This is the government of Canada. This is the government of Canada. Surveys, statistics. This is pretty interesting. I don't think I've ever seen this page before. Oh my god, that dog is going to drive me insane. Because it gives you the stats on everything, like non-violent, violent, national child exploitation. Like Jesus. Understanding. Okay, so it gives me a thing on how to understand this thing. Key trending. Crime severity. I don't want to see that either. Jesus Christ. Oh, rate of frauds and extortion to rise. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, we already knew that. That's all that fucking fuckface is talking about. Hate crimes are up. No shit. Looking for cannabis. I'm not looking for... There is so much information on here. Like, wow. They have an app. StatsCan has an app. Oh, that's funny. I want to see cannabis. I'm not seeing cannabis. It's not saying anything here about cannabis. It's like this is Stats Canada for crime, but I'm not seeing anywhere where like there's a lot of different. Maybe if I write, maybe I'll just go here and that and see if I can see what it comes up with. Contact us if you sales of cannabis by Liquor Cannabis Authority, National Cannabis Survey. Net income, cannabis consumption, the Daily National Survey, cannabis abuse, cannabis addiction counseling. That's 2023. Oh, shit. Hang on a second. I'm going to mute myself and yell at dogs. Sorry. Well, you got the full. Sorry. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. I've got the shit show. Anyways, I'm still, like I said, I'm not really seeing a lot of abuse and counseling examples 2023. Classifying alcohol and cannabis sales. But I'm not seeing anywhere where it's like there's no stats for crime, cannabis crime. Here, I'll put that in. Crime and justice stats. Okay. This is 2024. Okay, let's look at this. You will let me in. Thank you. Okay, so here we are. Crime. Oh my goodness. I don't know what's going on. Hang on a second. Wow, I'm sorry, folks. Sorry about that. I don't know what he's doing. Hang on. Again. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with my dogs. Besides, Stitch is in the kitchen and he's losing his mind, and that's probably causing everybody grief. But I might have to pause here and go and get him. Okay, so we're looking at this. I put crime and justice statistics in here, and I put in cannabis crimes. And I'm looking. Cannabis Stats Hub. Here we are. All right, Cannabis Stats. Oh, see, they have a Cannabis Stats Hub. This page has been archived. Why has it been archived? That's funny. So this is the Cannabis Stats Hub, but it was produced in 2018. And this is all they've got. You're kidding me, right? Archived content. Like, you're kidding me, right? Archived content. Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to take a quick minute here. I'm going to place, I don't know what. And I'm going to go and shut these dogs up. Give me a second here. I'm going to take this off. Sorry about this, folks, but yeah, I can't work like this.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor? If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection! We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyndonega.
We have two lines of drinks. One is called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with. And then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
All right. Sorry about that, but I could not have all that. Yeah, going on. That's pretty rough. Sorry about that, folks. Anyways, so we were talking about the stats, and basically there aren't any anything past 2018 for cannabis, except for this last report that me and Al had actually went over, but I wanted to see where it was on the Stats Canada. And I'm not finding anything. Like, I've looked for cannabis and cannabis crime, and there's just not a heck of a lot on here. And this is Stats Canada. I mean, there is. Authorities this is 2024 sales of cannabis by liquor and cannabis authorities, national survey, which is what we were talking about. So in this one here, I believe this is the one we were talking about. Published data, topics covered in the survey. Yeah. And then again, but it's like not all available here either, like list of surveys, collection period, what it was voluntarily. And it was totally like data sharing. But we all, this is all confidentiality questions, but in this report, it shows that cannabis crime rates were down by 95% for cannabis possession, which they are. And I can understand that because, I mean, it's legal, right? Like, it's not a thing. And police are like, got other things to be more worried about, and they always had. This just kind of freed them up to actually do what they wanted to do, right? And I'm glad that they did. Like, again, we said, show them the money. And again, if we show them the money on other, law reform with the other substances too, again, with, we're going from, mid, harmful, like, psilocybin, LSD, which can be considered also medicinal. Even cocaine can be considered medicinal because it can be used for stimulant, it can be used for pain, even opioids. Okay, what do you think that you take when you're taking, but again, like I said, addiction doesn't always become a choice after a bad accident. After laying in a hospital bed for, say, a year, hooked up to a fucking pump. You know what I mean? Like, come on, there are circumstances and all kinds of things and reasons why people become addicted, right? Stigmatization, discrimination, it's just always been there. And it's been that way even because of this, right? The discrimination, the stigma as to why people... for years, I was called a drug addict, okay? My mother would run around telling everybody that her daughter was a drug addict because I smoked weed. And I drank. I didn't use cocaine until I was way older, and I was a little 6-month hiccup. But the way it was portrayed, it sounded like I was some junkie on the street. Not that I should use that word, that's horrible, sorry. That I was severely substantially abusing on the streets. And I wasn't. I was using this. So back in the 90s and the early 2000s, if your parents thought that you were smoking cannabis, you were considered a drug addict. How's that fly for you? Because it doesn't fly for me. And for me to hear these stories and hear about what's been said, it makes me shake my head, because never in my life or anybody's life would this be something that should be considered making you a drug addict. Makes me mad. It still makes me mad thinking about that. Like, you're kidding me, right? Like, I gave up a really good job because some ass had to put a roach underneath the boss's door, and we all had to do a drug test. And I gave up a really good job because I smoked cannabis. I mean, a really good job. In fact, it was my fucking dream job at the dream place that I always wanted to work. And it was okay for them to go out to, the bar every night and get smashed drunk. But because I went home and they sent me to ADAC, I had 6 weeks to clean up. My ADAC worker said, it's going to take longer than that. She's got so much in her system because she's a daily user. It's going to take longer than 6 weeks for that to all just dissipate. And I tried giving it up. And I thought, you know what? It wasn't a matter of being physically sick or not, it was a little uncomfortable. I had a hard time sleeping for a couple days, whatever, right? It wasn't the hardness of giving it up physically, or it was the fact that somebody was telling me that I couldn't do something that I liked. So I quit. They didn't let me go. I quit. I outright just quit. Mind you, my life was in a fucking shambles back then anyway. So I was having a hard time even maintaining that job. But it was my dream job and I quit. Anyway, because of cannabis. And this was in the early 2000s. I could have found a doctor and got a medical exemption, I'm sure. But because I've had colitis since I was 16, so getting a medical exemption back then was probably an option, but I didn't know about it. But I'll tell you, if I knew now, then what I know now, I'd still have that job, and I probably have, yeah, maybe taken the whole place over for suing them for discrimination and wrongful making me go to ADAC because that was horrible, horrible, like horrible. ADAC. You know what? I don't even know if ADAC exists anymore. Does ADAC exist in Alberta anymore? Probably not, because the UCP's cut anything that had to do with mental health or drug addiction or anything like that. Let's check. Let's check and see if they've got rid of ADAC. ADAC, Alberta. Let's see. Um, no, it seems like it's some network system. ADAC. What's Alberta Addiction Services? See what Alberta Addiction and Mental Health. Oh no, it's Alberta Addiction and Mental Health together. Oh, it's all under AHS. So it's not called ADAC anymore. They've changed it. It's now under Addiction and Mental Health. There's no, see, they used to have a place called, like, it was ADAC. And if you wanted help for addiction services or need to go see addiction counseling or anything, it was just in the mall. You could just walk in there. It was like BC Mental Health, I guess. Maybe it's set up the same. I'm not sure, but yeah. But they made me do that 6 week, whatever, with that to keep my job. And then I had to be drug tested again to see. And I said to my supervisor, "Well, you wouldn't have had to spend the money to drug test me. All you would have had to do was ask." Wasn't hiding it from anybody. In fact, everybody knew I smoked weed. And I honestly believe that the guy that stuck the roach underneath the boss's desk is because he hated me and wanted me fired. I do. I think it was all like, motivation behind that from some little creepy guy in the corner, some little creepy accountant in the corner that didn't like me. Honestly, because then I know it wasn't anything coming from me either, because I wasn't dumb enough to ever take any of that to work. Because back then it was still illegal, right? I don't know. People are dumb. But anyways, it is that time that I get to wrap up a little bit. And I think I've got some, not really shout outs, but I'd like to try and promote Harvest Fest again, because Harvest Fest is Maritimers United for Medical Marijuana out on the East Coast. And I believe it's over, but I would like to promote again for next year. Let me just double check. I think it was last weekend. I'm really not good with dates, especially when you work like I do, and every day just runs together, because it's yeah, you work 6 days a week. You don't even know what day it is. Honestly, I don't anyway. Maybe you do, but I have a hard time even knowing what day it is. And today is Monday, and it's a good thing that that it reminded me that it was Monday, because if not, we wouldn't be here. Because Alexa, right? Oh my God, I am losing my mind. See, I told you I was losing my mind. And I love the fact that I can just kind of hang out here with you guys, and nobody cares. So Harvest Fest was July 5th. Last one. So they did have a great time. I know I actually talked to them. But yeah, But again, I want to promote Harvest Fest because it's something that I'd like to get to someday. But it's out in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia. With my friend Debbie does that one. And then I don't know what else. I don't know anything else that's really coming up, actually. Usually I do Kootenai Cannabis Cup August 25th, 26th. Maybe next year. This year I've just been too busy to like even think about it, and it's really hard. But maybe I need to do some exploring on how to go about doing it in a legal manner. I know I can't do it in like a setting where there's alcohol on premise, but there are people here that would help me. So maybe I'll think about doing a Kootenai Cannabis Club next August. Because like I said, this August too. In fact, the last 2 years that we actually did it, it was so bloody smoky, and here we are again. And it's so smoky. But yeah, that was usually August 25th, 26th was when I did that. And usually it coincided, I think, with Karma Cup. But Karma Cup was last month too, I think. So I don't know who I was, and then the Great Glass Gathering was done already too this year. But yeah, usually it would be Cannabis Cup on the 25th, 26th of August. And again this year, I didn't do anything. But like I said, maybe next year. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm pretty open to that. So yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do Cannabis Cup next year. And so if you're out there and want to throw your hat in the ring, I don't know if we'll do like a cup. I don't know. Maybe we'll just have an event. But I think it's time. It's, COVID was a lot before COVID. 2019 was the last one because 2020 was COVID. And it's been 4 years. And legalization, like I said, it's really hard to get sponsorship. But I'll have to go do some digging around the area. Because I know some of the micros here, but I'm not sure how that works with the legalities for them too. I'll have to do some investigating. Do some checking and see what I can come up with. Because that would be a good time. Alrighty, folks. I'm going to cut this short today because I've, got nothing left to say. And I've rambled for an hour again. And I don't know how I do that, but apparently I can. So you have a good week. I will be back on Wednesday night with Al on Pace Radio. I don't know what our topic is this week, and I'm not sure whether we have a guest. I probably don't have a guest. It's really tough. It's not tough. It's just, it's the summertime too, right? People are busy. But yeah, if you want to be a guest on any of our shows, reach out to me or Al. Al for Pace, me for this one. And I guess I'm going to do some homework on the Kootenai Cannabis Cup because I think that would be a really great idea. I think it's time to bring it back. Bring it back. Okay. So y'all have a good week. I'm going to go get ready for work. I have to do that today too. But actually, yeah, I've got a shift to do. So that'll be fun. Anyway, it's been a slice. Y'all have a great week. Thanks to all our sponsors, again, that keep us on the air. Legacy 420, Campbellford Lifestyle, and Limestone Hydroponics. We appreciate you. Y'all have a good week. Bye.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.